What's up, guys? Time for another YouTube recap. Interesting little Friday today. So we had a beautiful prediction, one and done Friday. We don't do a whole lot of heavy trading on Fridays. It's a lax day, as it should be, because most of the indicators and everything are downside. So in the long-term swing macro, we are still on that gap and go to the downside. We're still looking for the gaps. If you watched the last couple prior YouTube videos, macro long side, no. Macro short side, yes. If you watched the last three videos, you know where we're going. We're talking gap fills. We're talking down 8-12%, so on and so forth. But and the intraday, we still have back testing and longs to be had, right? Nothing goes in a straight line in the market. So I predicted this 3+ hours ago when we posted this, 6:49 a.m. 6:49 a.m. We're looking at the chart, and I gave us targets. We have 3 upside targets and a low side target. I said there is a nice triple long target above for the day. NQ will attempt a nice push into these 3 levels. I hope we wait till live to push. May happen in pre. Best case is we see 19,869.50 before the long target, but we can only hope, right? Long biased, I'll hold for the first part of the day. Okay, long bias, I'll hold for the first little part, first little morning. And we only trade for about an hour and a half of the morning, so that first long is like 40 minutes, if that. So we predicted this long right here, and like we said in the description, the best case scenario is we see 19,869.50, then pop up here, then head right back down, right? That was the prediction before it happened. Let's go see what it looks like on the NQ chart. Let's get into it. So this is that early morning pop. Here's that minute chart, 8:30 a.m. market open, right? So where's the vertical line? I like sometimes putting a vertical line right here, but I don't think TOS actually has any kind of reputable big arsenal of drawing tools like so. We'll just draw a quick one because I don't have it on the hotbar. There we go. So the market open right here. So market open, and like the post says, I'd like to see a tag of 19,869.50 before we head back up, right? So market opens up, pushes down a little bit past level. It's in the green right here, 19,869.31. Pushes back up, hits target 19,967 and some change, right? So this was the prediction call that we had, and we longed it out of the gate for almost $12,000 green. From here to here was the call, 100 points, okay? I think I got 60-some points out of it because we waited for the confirmation. So what had happened was we had pushed down out of the open, right? We opened right here, pushed just a little bit to the deviation. No big deal. That's the wrong marker. Junk always switches on me. Pushes down to the deviation, pops, hits 200 SMA, 100 EMA, 666, all right here. What's it do after the first moving average take? Pushes back. What's it do? Gives you a perfect conformational high or low on our frickin' support we called. So if we see this level tag prior to running up to these 3 levels we have, it's the best case scenario. So we went heavy long for a 12K win, all off of here, right here. So beautiful little 7-minute trade, if that. It popped down, held the exact support we called, ran right to the exact top that we called. Okay, perfect. Now, after that, we can get back to the macro downside because I said I leaned a little bit long for the early little morning of the session. What happened after that? Beautiful confirmation. So on the NQ, I posted some trades too, some swings, some other stuff, and I said the over-under for the day. This is what we gave our team, 19,900. TOS, you junk. Close enough. We'll extend it to the left, make it neon green. This was our over-under level, the biggest precedent of what was going on for the day. Let's get to the 5-minute chat so we can see the charts, we can see the MAC and the oscillation. The TOS is just going to do that TOS stuff. There we go. So over under 19,900 was the call, and that was the biggest piece of a Fibonacci we had. So we predicted the opening morning long, got it, and then I wanted to continue looking for some long scalps, but we had confirmation under 19,900, so we couldn't. This was the over-under level, no matter what it did, but it was over-under this level is what I told our premium chat, and that is literally it. So if you see right here, price action building, right? Look at the MAC. This was a huge precursor of the day. Swap to the downside, separating lines, heavier histogram waves, and nothing but downside. Let's look at the price action here. We have 19,900 rejected. Well, it's like the entire morning. I'm not even going to count the candles. Entire morning. So we got all these lower highs stacking up. Got a fresh lower low right here half hour after open. I'm like, okay, now we're getting a fresh low out of sequence. This would be good for a breakdown. So the shorts were coming down, okay, pushing, came back up, tested almost to the 19.9 again, and washed out, and continuing the macro for our longer term short swing calls. Perfectly fine, right? So this is a pretty quick one because we only had one big prediction. We smoked 60 some points out of there, made 12 grand green. So not a whole lot to cover, but we're going to bring back up our anchors for the day and how we played some of the anchors for the bounce as well. So I'll give you the freebie QQQ and how I called the long here right into the day is where I took yesterday's low and I created a anchor VWAP at that low. We'll change it to a bright old purple so we can see it. And this was the bottom of the market for that early morning long as well, using anchors, right? So these price levels I associate with other indicators. We stack them to give us a better catalyst, right? So we didn't have this anchor on at the time of the day, boom. And we had this purple one. So we did open up right here, dumped into the anchor, and again our support was already called hours in advance on NQ. Then it popped all the way up to our target on NQ, right? And then decided to fail. But because the anchor had a no tag from yesterday, we needed a magnet to tag this first. And what that means is the low of day yesterday pointed to the upside because it has to chase price action back up because it's a low anchor, right? No tags. So if you look there from the anchor, no tag, no tag, no tag, nothing came close. So this needs a back test. It needs a tag before we can see the price action do anything for us, right? And that's what it did. It opened up, tagged the anchor from yesterday, pushed to my target prediction, and down she went because we stayed under 19,900 as a whole, and that was the big over under. Now for the day, we called one more other scalp, and we used this low right here. We said it was going to come back down to the bottom up anchor. So again, I'll take this anchor right here, change it for the next trade, like a neon yellow, so we can see it for this trade. And this is a backtest anchor trade, very similar to what we see on a break and retest confirmation. These work as price levels, all in the same. So we see right here, yellow anchor is marked on current low of day for the open, because we're only worried about here right now for the open, right? We have our bias, we're under 19,900, we're cracking all the way back down. Okay, well, it broke through the yellow anchor right here in this consolidation period. So what the price action has to do is it has to come back up and meet that anchor again before it goes even lower. And if you watched our last YouTube video, we were talking about 100 EMA tag and lower yesterday for the end of the day. That happened as well. Those back test confirmations to confirm your lows are what you need. And you can just walk these up and down, you know, throughout the day for scalps, which is nice because once it breaks an anchor, the price action snaps it, has to come back here. So we had a long call from here, and we said it can come all the way back up to here and then potentially the top down because we were still waiting for a top down. So whenever it wants to build support for a reversal trade, sometimes after 10:30 a.m. Central is the only time you'll start seeing them start to even manifest on the chart because of the euro close and the algo manipulation gets out of the way for the Americas markets. So right here, we had the crack, we had the back test of the anchor, and this long call is another one that we called right here for 40 some points. So we had a beautiful anchor test, and those anchors lined up again with the Fibonacci and our points of interest on the downside, right? So anchors had a very beautiful one. And then last but not least, we'll cover SPY real quick because SPY gave us some really good signals here as well, giving us the opportunity to continue the dump. SPY was a little bit different because we have weekly targets, right? And if you watched any of our YouTube videos, we went over where our swing weeklies were because we rebuilt them right here off of a single candle. That's all that mattered. So like we said in the video, anything under 555 and 8 cents is going to go to the golden pocket today, GP. That's your short target, right? So we're coming into the golden pocket of a weekly. This is the high-low right here, fib box of 7-1. And we don't have any price action at all to the right side of this candle, right? So when we break into this candle, we look for these golden pocket levels to hit as short targets under 558 entering the box. So if this is our fib box, and this is the top of our fib box, once price action enters that box and confirms itself under 555, we will be heading to the golden pocket, okay? So let's go look at what intraday looks like. 5-day, 5-minute chart. And this is again where I said yesterday, we'll bring a little bit into yesterday and for that 100 EMA shy, no tag of the 100 EMA, no tag of the 100 EMA, no tag of the 100 EMA. Again, just like an anchor, you're going to look to today to do what? Tag the 100 EMA and go bye-bye. Okay, very easy here. Now, coming into this back testable 555, look at the 555. Yesterday is when we broke into the 555 in question on the weekly fib. We came back down intraday, back tested that zone, and headed to the downside, which means if we stay under the 555, right? And I got this level from 19,900 QQ. Doesn't matter which one you use. They're all relatively the same in the same general area, right? We were continuing down to the golden pocket, and we're in the golden pocket. So again, perfect trade to call ahead a day in advance, because we talked about that last YouTube video as well, being inside the 555 weekly, and we were coming down to the golden pocket. Now, I wish we would have got a couple different scalps long up here to kind of peak some of those, pre-market open tags. We got one pre-market open tag right here, but we didn't get any pre-market high tags, which is, sometimes a little bit iffy, but that's okay. Regardless, we had a really good buy swap, and our buy swap for the SPY, we'll go over real quick, last but not least, was yesterday's close. Okay. So we were very adamant on this on premium chat. I bitched and yelled and moaned on the screen and repeated it a billion times. Yesterday's close, 55266. This was the earliest amount of resistance I've seen. If we held above this, it was a very big long. If we got below it, it's short. That is a over under level, right? So we look to our oscillation indicators to tell us what's happening with the over under level. If we are looking, it switched on me again. Good old junker pin. If we look at upside or downside from this level, right? Either could happen at 55266, but we are using yesterday's close because that monster candle. Because if we're using yesterday's close, we're going to come up into the golden pocket of the prior candle, yesterday's whole candle. If we stay outside it, we're heading straight down to the golden pocket of the weekly. So there, I used a daily level, yesterday's close, to help with trend direction and continuation from my weekly call. Okay. So we mix those up. So the 555 weekly and the 55266 is a giant resistance zone, because you can use levels from the weekly and the daily obviously together, make yourself a nice big zone. We pushed into that zone right here, failed, lower high, failed, lower low, continuation. Okay, let's look at our oscillation indicators to help us with this as well. If we stay under 55266 in trend, well, that's pretty easy. The RSI is in the bottom channel. We're under 50 and maintaining. And a huge piece of the puzzle today was I was bitching at our chat and at our premium is look at the MAC. The MAC looks like garbage. Unless we hold the zero line very early at market open, we're not seeing that long, right? So we were very wanting to see the long setup. We got the long setup on all my long targets. After that trade was done, killed it, knocked it out of the park. We looked for another long, but it never fruitation. That's fine. We got stuck under the 200 SMA, got stuck under the 100 EMA, which we just talked about, that needed a back test from yesterday to confirm resistance continuation down, which we got. That's in the green right here, neon green. So beautiful ding, ding, lower high, sets up, goes back down, and then again into those weekly deviation pockets. Beautiful. So let's bring up SPY real quick on the anchors and talk about the last piece of what you should be using for the indicators here. So we're going to go to SPY quick, and we're going to see these anchors, right? So SPY anchor, same exact thing that we used, right? We've seen the SPY come in, consolidate in between the anchors, snap under the anchor, came back, tested low anchor. That's called confirmation. And then it went back short. So every new low I'm making a new anchor, right? So every time I want to see a low, I'm waiting for a reversal so these anchors are actually going to get capside. So this anchor, the blue, same thing. It's going to hold for a little bit, pops, slams through. So the next back test is the blue anchor, and then continuing the same pattern we've seen with the first anchor right here. Price actions above, snaps below, comes back up, test confirmation. Comes back down, fresh low, puts another anchor on, snaps it, comes up to, anchor again. Now, eventually, we're going to find a box of consolidation where she's going to run back up, and your long targets will finally be had. But a long takes confirmation. We need the MAC to be on that uptrend. We need the VIX to come back down. We need a lot of stuff to start showing us signals that it even wants a long. We're not just going to randomly buy a low and hope for the best, right? We have a lot of low side game on for that. And again, on the SPY, especially on the daily chart and so on and so forth, we called, gaps in these pockets a long time ago. And we said it wouldn't even be out of the question to head on down to 538.50s for this gap that is unfilled, right? So we had a really big opportunity for, again, a gap and go trend direction. We're utilizing the weekly levels, and we knocked it out of the park, predicted it before it happened again today, which was pretty awesome. We live when that happens. Nothing is guaranteed to the market, and there's no way somebody could do that every single day, but we definitely have a lot of continuation, consistency when it comes to calling the market. We definitely win more than we lose. If any of these videos you find some value in, if this helps you understand Fibonacci, VWAP, anchors, or just trade psychology, and you want to trade with us live every single day, well, I'm live every morning where the market gets broken down here, and I narrate these trades live. I even post them like you've seen on X hours before they happen and what levels we're looking for. And then in my chat, in my premium chat, I walk through the levels, walk through the entries and exits. We post about them nonstop all day. So we had a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hit right here. And I think we're going to come into this golden pocket and just kind of sit still. I think the lowest point of the day, in my opinion, for SPY, you probably won't see it under this lower golden pocket. So I don't think we're going to move too much outside of this range. I just drew that box and TS said no thanks. So this range right here, I just don't see us too much before a bounce, right? So if this happens to be the low of day, that's fine. If we happen to wash it, doesn't matter to me. We're looking for lower through the golden pocket anyway, but we don't have a catalyst for it. You can see how slow everything's moving. No psychological catalyst to just blow us down into the water and keeps heading down, because our final target for this weekly is obviously going to be right here, 542.42. We got our 50 SMA daily coming in, 539 and change there as well. So those next leg downs into next week could happen, but I'm really hoping for a couple of green days first leading into next week so we can actually retest some of these weeklies and then go back down again. So testing this first tag of the golden pocket, green side right here, is very big support because it's a first tag. So I'm hoping we get some green momentum back off this and then trend back down, because if we just straight line trend back, straight line down, we hit a lot of the short targets. We got a lot of great swings off this, but I'm looking for like the actual continuation, something that's going to dump for a month or two instead of this nonsense 3 to 5 days and then, scam pick right back up. But right now the FANG is helping us. It's very healthy. So if you're looking across the board here at some of our counterparts here just on the daily, Apple has a gap and go junk, Amazon, beautiful gap and go junker, everything, NVIDIA, lower high, lower lows, perfect setup. We got a ton of downside on NVIDIA, Googs, Meta, everything is working accordingly to that initial, right? We're not getting too much outside movement. Even the Netflix continuation earnings was a really big signal today. The MACD was showing us a lot of the FANG has been rolling. So I think this one might finally be it. And it's done scamming us here. But this is the last point of the market, I'd say. I think if support comes in anywhere above this green right here, comes all the way back up to potentially back test some zones up here. But I think we're just going to be chopped. I think we're just going to be a lot of sideways, and I think it's going to end somewhere around 548, 549 for the day. And we're just not going to have too much else to worry about. So that is it for me, my friends. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And again, if you find any value here, you want to trade with us, links are in the description. Take care. See you on the next.